have to confess that I am a huge fan of fried chicken sandwiches. It's one of my favorite things, and it's definitely one of my favorite takeouts. But every now and then I have to also admit I prefer making it myself because I know what's going into it. Today on Jay's World Kitchen, I'm going to show you a really simple way to make a delicious fried chicken sandwich right in your home. For the fried chicken portion of this dish, you're going to need 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, some kosher salt and pepper, 2 cups of flour, 1½ cups of crushed savory crackers, 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper, 3 eggs, and some oil for frying. And of course, at the end, you're also going to need a hamburger bun and some toppings of your choosing. Personally, I just like mayo and lettuce. To start off with, you're going to take your savory crackers and you're going to crush them down. The easiest way I found is in a Ziploc bag and just use a rolling pin, because you don't want any very, very large chunks, but you also don't want it to become a fine powder. So you do want it slightly like a rough sand, I guess. And we're just going to put in our salt and our pepper and our cayenne. And that's just going to give it a nice flavor at the end with a slight little bite to it. And just make sure that that is very well evenly distributed throughout your cracker crumbs. And we're just going to set that aside for a moment. And now we're going to slightly tenderize our chicken breast. And the way I like to do this is I simply put a piece of plastic down over my cutting board like that, place a breast down sort of in the middle, and very loosely cover it. Stops it from splashing everywhere. And I'm just using a quite heavy tenderizer. This one's actually very nice rubber coated, and you basically just want to give it a good old whack to get it down a little bit flatter. If you find that your chicken breasts are really thick, you can actually slice them in half and skip this step. And we're going to flip it over and do the same on the other side. And then we're going to set that aside and continue on and do that for all of our breasts. Once you've tenderized your chicken, we're just going to sprinkle on, and I'm just using kosher salt. And I didn't bother with a measurement here because really it's just a light salting. And we're going to then, as always, put a little bit of ground black pepper on there. Doesn't have to be a ton. Flip them over and do the same on the other side. So now we're going to very quickly whisk together our eggs. Very, very simply. If you haven't dredged before, it's really straightforward. You're just going to pop your chicken in there, and you can use tongs if you really want to, but I just prefer to use my hands. And then simply put that into the flour for just a moment. Your hands are going to get sticky no matter what you do. Cover it in the flour. Make sure it's completely covered on all sides. Shake off the excess. Pop it into your egg wash again. On both sides, make sure that it's completely covered. And then into your crumbs. And again, just toss it in there, make sure that you're getting the whole thing coated on all sides. And then set that aside on a baking sheet. And you're going to repeat that for all of the chicken breast, and put them onto your baking sheet and then pop that into the fridge while you bring your oil up to temperature. Now I put my oil to about between 350 and 375 degrees Fahrenheit, so it is quite warm. And very simply, we're going to remove our chicken from the fridge and put one in at a time. And it really is not going to take very long to fry these, but you want to fry them just until they're golden brown on all sides. haven't already tried my hamburger bun recipe, I strongly recommend that you click on the link up in the corner of the screen right now and go and watch that video. These buns are just amazing, and you'll never buy store-bought again. But for my chicken sandwich, I simply have mayo, lettuce, and that beautifully crisped up chicken breast on one of my buns, and I'm just dying to tuck into this. Oh man, that's good. The chicken is tender and crispy on the outside. You have got to try this recipe. And if you do, I'd like to hear from you in the comment section below how it turned out for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and remember to turn on notifications so that you know when my next video drops. Remember too that you can follow me on all of my social media, and those links can be found down in my Linktree link down in the comment section below. Remember too, if you're looking for ideas for dinner, this playlist will give you all of my dinner idea recipes. Thanks so much again for watching, and until next time, happy eating.